Hey y'all, my name's Ben, and today is the first ever lecture series for Binary Tree and Bon My Roy, tackling digital safety. Specifically today, we're going to talk about your digital footprint. So, what is a digital footprint? Well, it's a trail of data created by your activities on the internet and your digital devices, and it can happen through a whole bunch of mechanisms. Web browsing, app usage, your social medias, the purchases you make online, your location services, and even through things you're not really aware of, like the metadata associated with images you post, log files, search histories, or even your device identifiers. All of this is used by the government, companies, schools, and individuals to profile you, surveil you, and do analyses. In the age of AI, oftentimes these analyses are automated and controlled by AI algorithms. Managing your digital footprint is essential for digital literacy and digital safety, but also for cyber hygiene and even data ethics. We're going to be tackling ethics today: the right, the wrong, the what you should post, and what you should not post. So there are two types of digital footprint: active footprint and passive footprint. And they kind of sound exactly what they are. Active footprint is everything that takes deliberate input from the user. So this is the posts you make on Instagram, the comments you make on YouTube, filling out forms, and the things you tweet. All of this requires your awareness and your deliberation to engage with. Passive footprint's just the opposite. This is digital footprint that doesn't necessarily require your explicit input, or you may not even be aware of this stuff is out there, like your IP address, information associated with your device, tracking cookies, or your location data. This is often automatically pulled by websites and apps, and you're, again, not going to even know it's out there. Why does this matter though? Like, who cares if a company somewhere sometime has my location, or if something I posted 10 years ago maybe isn't the best? Well, it actually matters a lot. If you ever want to get a job in the future, attend college in the future, employers and deans of admissions will often go back and search through your past posts on social media or any information associated with you online, checking one for any inappropriate information, inappropriate content, but also checking if the stuff you post aligns with the mission and the values of the company or the college that you want to attend. Scammers can also use your digital footprint against you. Oftentimes, public data is used for phishing, impersonation, or even stealing your identity. Passive data is particularly susceptible to these scanners as well. They can track your IP or your device fingerprints and use it to harm you. So let's look at a real life example of this happening. In the spring of 2017, 10 admitted students to Harvard's college class of 2021 had their admissions officer offers rescinded after the university discovered they had participated in a private Facebook group where they exchanged explicit and offensive memes. The group was a spin-off of the official Harvard class of 2021 Facebook group, and in this group, they were sharing content that was not appropriate. Eventually, screenshots of the content in the group chat reached the admissions office, and they reviewed all of it and decided that these students participating in this content were not allowed to attend the college. This was, again, a private group. So this wasn't even information that they were publicly posting, but it still got them in trouble and it still lost them a chance at their dream college. That's why digital footprint matters so much. It can lead to consequences down the road that you can't even anticipate in the moment. Let's go through another example that shows a slightly different angle on digital footprint. So, in Thailand, around 2019, a young woman living in Chiang Mai shared a seemingly harmless selfie on Instagram. This selfie was geotagged with her exact home location. Now, in case you don't know, a geotag is a form of metadata associated with an image. So, if anyone looks at that image closely, they can see exactly where the image was taken. They can also, obviously, in the selfie, see her apartment complex behind her, the street, lots of information to track her down. And that's exactly what happened. A stalker looked at the post, found her information, and ended up following her home and waiting outside of her apartment complex. Now, she was safe. She called the police, and the situation was dealt with appropriately. But this is a great example of why you have to be extremely careful what you post and when, because certain information associated with your posts, whether you realize it or not, can be used against you. Now, let's say you realize you've made a mistake. Cleaning it up is possible, but there are some potholes that you're going to have to look out for because it's not always simple. For example, when you upload something to the internet, oftentimes through social media or any other mechanism, your data is going to be saved not just on the main platform you upload it to, but also in cloud backups, mirrors, data centers, often across many locations. This makes cleaning up really complicated. Also, when you share content, it can spread fast. People can take screenshots of the stuff you post. They can share it through their own accounts. And if you have one post that goes viral, it's going to be all over the internet and you're never going to be able to take it down. A lot of platforms keep logs as well. Even if you delete a post, the platform itself can keep a log of whatever information you shared. And algorithms, oftentimes AI algorithms in this day and age, will remember you as well. They'll learn from your search patterns and what kind of advertisements you like. So even if you want to somehow erase that information, they've already learned from you and will already make decisions based off your past actions. A good step to take right now is to Google yourself. Go ahead, Google your name, and oftentimes a good keyword like your school name or the city you're from, or maybe even a club or team or other organization you're associated with. This is a good way to get a sense of what is out there already on you. What kind of information is on the internet associated with your name? This is the same stuff that a future employer or a future college admissions officer will see if they try and search you up. This is a good way to get ahead of your digital footprint. So let's say you go through this exercise and you realize that you've got some old profiles, some old posts that you don't want there anymore. They don't look favorable or it doesn't reflect who you are today. How do you clean up? Well, there are a couple of ways. First off, old accounts are easy. You just delete them. Oftentimes, if you've used Instagram or any other social media for a prolonged period of time, you're going to have multiple accounts. There's no reason for old accounts to be on there except to confuse people and possibly lead to information you don't want being out there. So delete them. Also, remove old posts that you don't want your employers or teachers seeing. Remove any content that you don't think looks favorable on you or doesn't reflect your current beliefs. That doesn't mean those posts still aren't out there. It doesn't mean that you've cleaned it up perfectly. But it's a good first step in mitigating future damage. You should also unfollow bad or corrupt influencers. Any influencer that you follow that shares an opinion or a belief that doesn't resonate with you, that doesn't reflect your opinions or beliefs, especially if they're harmful or hateful, you don't want to follow them. Unfollow them. Here are a couple of other good rules for posting on the internet. So before you even make a mistake, before you even think, how do I clean this mess up? Here's some tricks for how to think ahead. So, first, when you're making a post, ask yourself a really simple question. Would you want your grandma seeing that post? Honestly, would you want your grandma seeing what you're putting on the internet right then and there? If the answer is yes, go ahead and post it. And you can run through this exercise with other people as well, your future employer, your dean of admissions. I mean, are these people you want seeing what you're posting? Some other good rules would be no posting IDs, no posting addresses, or any other sensitive information. Especially with jokes and memes, be really conscientious of what you're posting. Think about the Harvard example. Sometimes jokes are only funny because they're at someone else's expense, and those jokes really aren't funny and they're going to harm you in the future. Only post a joke if it's wholesome and appropriate. Also, know what your apps collect. Oftentimes, if you leave an app open or you don't look at the terms and conditions really carefully, your apps can collect data on you that you're not even aware of. So just be conscientious of this. Know what apps you have and know what kind of data they're collecting on you. Here are some other helpful strategies that might mitigate any future damage. Use privacy-focused browsers like DuckDuckGo or Brave. These are browsers that are not going to track your searches and are not going to store your personal data. Google is not one of these. Google does track your searches and Google does store your personal data. These prevent people building up detailed profiles on you that can be used for targeted advertising or even trackers. Also, be really careful with metadata associated with posts. Just like the example of the girl from Thailand, when you post a photo, oftentimes it's going to have a geotag. It's going to have information about where it was taken or even who it's being taken of. Like, you want to be conscientious of any metadata or any implicit data associated with posts. And there are ways to get around this. For example, before posting online, you can use an app like Image Optum, and you can strip any posts of metadata, and then you can send it, and then it won't have any locations associated with it. You could also be really careful of apps. Log out of them every time you're not using them. Don't leave the window open. All you have to do is swipe up once and the app's completely closed. And then it can't track anything you're doing. It can't track your location. It can't track what other apps you're visiting. If you don't want that data being collected, these are very easy hacks.